Hey everybody. Sorry, I'm sitting in the truck again because it's windy. Last night, yesterday we had storms and today it's windy and nice. Tonight and tomorrow we're supposed to have storms again. So I think it's a routine about this wind. But what I want to talk today about, a lot of people probably don't think about this. You guys check your oil, your transmission, and your windshield wiper, and your antifreeze in your car, in your vehicles. But a lot of people, they'll buy something and just put it back, or they'll throw it in their bug out bag and it is set there a year or two or whatever, and you don't check it. Um, let's start off with fishing poles. A lot of people might go out and buy a fishing pole who don't fish. They just want it to, you know, have it in case of an SHTF situation. But what they don't realize, yes, they might not use that fishing pole, but that's the fishing line on there will start to deteriorate, to start to kind of like dry rot after a while. And you want to change out your fishing line on your fishing poles like every spring, change it, take it completely off, put new on it. It might not look like there's anything wrong with it, but say you've used it one or two times and you reel it in, the line's wet, you put it in your garage or your attic or your basement or wherever, and that the dampness will kind of help dry rot the line. A lot of people say, well, how can fishing line dry rot? I don't know if that's the right word I'm using, dry rot, but it will make it disintegrate or whatever. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it makes it where brittle. There you go, brittle. You know, it and if you get a fish on there and you got brittle line, it's going to snap your line. You're going to lose your hook, your sinker, your fish. So always change out your um, your fishing line. Now, say you're one of these guys that goes buys a bow to have a bow and you use it a couple of times and you put it up. Now, bow hunters, they're going to know this, no problem. You need to wax your bowstrings. Keep them waxed so they don't dry rot on you. You just go to the bow shop or any of your sporting good places that sells bows and ask for some bow wax, and it looks like a kind of like a giant. What I get is like a giant chapstick tube. You just wipe it on, you just rub it in on your bowstrings, and you can do that to your crossbow pistols, your recurve, your compound bow. But keep your bowstrings good and clean. And if you can, buy you an extra one just to have it set back. Don't take it out of the package; just keep it set back. You want to check your gear. I mean, say you buy you some bow saws and or whatever. You always want to check it. If you use it a lot, keep an eye on it. Make sure it's still sharp. See if there's any cracks in it. You know, it's just common sense things that people kind of forget to do because they get so busy. Then if an SHTF situation happens and you need it and it breaks on you or busts on you or dull on you, you're going to be in trouble. Um, Getting back to the fishing line, one more thing: if you have a fishing kit and you've got some line in there that's been in there 6 months, a year, 2 years, replace it. Just because you haven't used it, it's not. I wouldn't trust it. I would replace it after 6 months. Don't throw it away. You can use it for tying something up, but to keep it in my pack, I would replace it like every 6 months. Um, Snares, just make sure you got plenty of snare wire, or if you're using picture frame wire, make sure it's not kinked up where it's been sitting in your pack or whatever. If you're using regular snares, check them, make sure there's no burrs on them or anything like that. Just go through your gear, check your flashlights. check the bulbs, check the battery, make sure there's no rust on there. Just check your canteens, make sure they're not busted or got anything growing on them. If you use them a lot, any bacteria, wash them out, let them dry out. That's along with your your cookware and stuff like that. Just give them a good look over, and if you have to dump out the whole bag, just go through there and make sure everything's in working condition where you don't have to worry about it, in case you have to grab your bag and go. Because you don't know when it could happen. It may never happen, which I'm kind of hoping it never happens. Um, but again, just if you're saving back gas, change it out every 6 months. 'Cause I think gas goes bad within 6 months setting in a container. Don't quote me on this. It's something I heard. But I know if you put 2-cycle oil in it, it's supposed to last a little bit longer, a couple more months. But don't quote me on it. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. This is what I've heard. You know, if you let gas set for 6 months, it kind of gets water into it from, I don't know how it does it, but it's supposed to get water and it goes bad. So I don't know that, if that's a fact or if it's a myth. I don't know. But to be on the safe side, just change your gas out every 6 months. Just there's a lot more to go through. Your knives, your hatchets. Make sure you sharpen them. If you use them a lot, you know to sharpen them. But if you bought it and you just threw it in your bug out bag, or you threw it in your garage and you used it maybe 1 or 2 times, go back, put a good sharp edge on there, because that way, in case something happens, you got it. You want to check your rope. Make sure it didn't dry rot. If it got wet or something like that, you were out using it and you put it up and it was a little wet. Check it to make sure it's not dry rotted. 550 cord, you really don't have to worry about. This other, this dollar store rope, you kind of need to watch. But just go ahead and check your rope. You know, if you got a tent, set it up. Make sure there's no mildew on it. If it is, clean it off, let it dry out, then pack it back. It's just checking your preps and your gear. It could be a life saving. It could save your life in them when you really need it, because like your tarps, you might have a tarp in there and you used it and it ripped and you didn't know it did, and you put it in there and something happens and you're needing a tarp and you take it out and there's a big hole in it, or it's ripped half in two when you go to set it up. Again, you're going to be up the creek without a paddle. It don't take long. Sit down for an hour, go through your preps, your bug out bag, or your fishing poles and your bows, and check your bullets too. People will say, well, why do I need to check? Make sure there's no corrosion on your brass. If it is, clean it off. Because if it's in the firing pin, that corrosion could mess with it, making it misfire. So check your ammo. A lot of guys go buy a gun, they shoot it a few times and put it up. Make sure you clean it. And if I might have somebody on here, well, I shot my gun and I cleaned it and I put it up 3 months ago and I haven't shot it. There's dust built up on the barrel, in the mechanism. Break it down, clean it. You want to clean your guns at least once a month if you're not using them. That way you can keep the dust off of them. That's what I do. I mean, it might not make a difference to some people, but I keep my guns clean. You know, even if I haven't shot them in a year, every month I break them down, clean them, make sure they're good to go. Because you know, you're in the wintertime, you got the heat going. In the summertime, you got the air conditioner going. You know, if you just got them setting, you know, from that hot and cold, you open a window, you know, dampness, moisture, you don't know what could get on your weapons. So just keep your weapons cleaned. Um, I'm trying to go through a list, but you guys are going to catch on to what I'm saying. Just get out there, check your preps, check your bug out bag, check your, if you got a 72-hour bag in your vehicle, check that, replace it, replace the water, check your medication, check the expiration date on food, switch them out if it's getting close to going out of date, switch them out. But right now would be a good time to do it because it's turning into spring. Things are kind of calm right now. But like I said, this summer's when it's going to get heated. And the stuff going on with North Korea. The elites are pushing that agenda. They tried it with China, and China didn't bite. To go start a war. So now they're pushing it more for North Korea. So there's a lot going on, and these elites are going to get these mind control zombie protesters rioting and looting and burning this summer over stupid crap to get stuff fired up here again. So guys, just keep your preps in check. Check them check them. I can't stress it enough. Check your preps. Make sure they're up to date. Make sure they're working properly. Make sure nothing's dry rotted, nothing's brittle, everything's sharp, everything's in date. And it could be the difference between life and death. If like I said, there's a long list that needs to be checked. I've just off the top of my head, I've named off a few, but there's plenty more. If you guys want to comment below what you guys check and what you should check, somebody else might not, they're going to read the comments and they might not have thought about checking that, and you're helping other people out by your comments and other people reading them saying, oh, I forgot, I didn't check this. So everybody's helping everybody out on this one. But until the next one, guys, be safe, keep preparing, and have a good day. Bye for now.